The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello, welcome to the show, brought to you in association with the award-winning Levi Solicitors.
They are award-winning. They're on the back of the magazine. They've put it on. It says, what is it they've won? It's Wills and Probate Awards, isn't it?
The British Wills and Probate Awards 2023 Private Client Team of the Year - Boutique. Now, boutique makes it sound really sexy, doesn't it?
It does. Artisan.
Yeah.
What other words do people use? Good is what it is.
Yeah.
There you go. It's on a magazine too.
So congratulations to Levi Solicitors. Not only do they do wills and probate and conveyancing,
Yep.
they do loads of other stuff, details of which you can find on the
Lasting
website.
powers of attorney.
Yep.
Not just the one power.
Yeah.
Multiple powers.
Yep.
I can't remember what they
Don't
are now.
pretend like you know these things. I just saw you open the website while Dan was speaking.
Listen, if I need little prompts, you don't see someone reading the news, do you, without a teleprompter?
That's correct.
So it's similar, except it's always last minute.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
speak to them for other stuff too.
Excellent. Right. LeviSolicitors.co.uk/the square ball to take advantage of the 10% discount on your legal fees. Dan, Michael, and Rob here for the weekly show, the update where we find out what's been going on at Leeds. Just have a little chat about the goings on at LS11. And it's sad to have to start on child trafficking. So let's not talk about child trafficking. Let's talk about voting for us, if you could. The vote closes for the FSA Awards on the 20th of November. Monday the 20th is when the voting closes for that. We've been shortlisted for Club Podcast of the Year. So please give us a vote if you haven't yet.
Tell your friends.
Yes.
Tell your friends with VPNs.
thesquareball.net/vote, and that will redirect you to exactly where you need to be. And we're off to London in about 2.5 weeks for a jolly little knees up, and hopefully we come back with another one of the awards, which was fun last year.
We've not even got room for them all, have we? Look at them all in that corner, cluttering it up.
Fan Media of the Year, that's the one we won last year, and it's only got some mild scratching to it.
Yeah, it did take a tumble to that one as well.
Not me this time, by the way, because I did drop the one that we won, the first one that we won in 2011, which was naively a glass trophy. But they're a little bit made of stern stuff now, aren't they?
I mean, that is still glass, but it's a very solid lump.
Yeah, we would love to win another one. So if you don't mind giving us like 1 minute of your time, question 8 is the one that we're in. It's the only one you have to vote in. That's the only thing you have to do is like follow the link through. Question 8, square ball, and then you don't have to do anything else after you've submitted your vote. That's it. I mean, you can vote for other people. Join the FSA if you want.
Just reading it. Oh,
Entirely up to you.
should we get straight in on the child trafficking then?
Who's been doing it?
Man City.
Yeah.
Pep.
Yeah. Let's say yes. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, it's fine, isn't it? Yes, we're on about Finlay Goleman here, who's 15 years old. Looks like a British club record fee for a boy child has been trafficked over the Pennines. An initial 7-figure sum could be worth in excess of £5 million. It's been reported. So he's been playing for the under-18s this season, hasn't he? Presumably went over there, saw the facilities, went, quite like this.
Used to be what players did at Leeds, didn't it? Come to our facilities and think, this is the place for me. But it's weird football, innit? I kind of feel quite uncomfortable about massive sums of money being thrown at children and everyone talking about it as well. It's just a very bizarre industry, isn't it? I think, like, you see some people online are a bit upset about this, but you've got to think, like, we do this all the time as well. So, I don't know. I don't think you can really get too upset about it.
When you say we do this, what do you mean?
Well, not me personally.
Not the child trafficking part, we just sign kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. But yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? But then again, what do you expect when Man City have got the posted record revenues for a British football team?
700 odd million, isn't it? Yeah.
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, even though they can't fill the stadium a lot of the time.
Yeah, but the really good, strong commercial team there.
Yeah.
They get the deals, don't they?
Yeah.
The deals with those companies that don't seem to necessarily have premises or staff.
I did see it reported that bonuses are available for stuff that gets sold commercially at Man City, but not on the stuff that goes directly to like Abu Dhabi, which is weird, isn't it? Funny, isn't it? You wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah. Very supportive guys over there.
Yeah, great bunch of lads. Great
very
bunch
much
of
It's
lads.
like how that taxi firm that had no taxis sponsored Sheffield Wednesday.
You almost can't get annoyed with Man City for this though, because they're so flagrant with it. It's just like, yeah, we're gonna have all this revenue and we're gonna take all the players and you can just fucking deal with it. Yeah. And we are gonna win everything every year forever. And you sort of go, fine.
And we're going to look like we're not enjoying a single minute of it.
If that's what you want to do, well done.
It does completely remove all the jeopardy from everything, doesn't it? And like you say, it almost renders it a bit meaningless.
It's just like when you're 20 years into a football manager save and you're just constantly buying all the best players.
Because you've got all the money, you just... Yeah.
That's essentially what they're they're doing now. So they have a generation of people who, even if they don't play for them, they'll sell them for 30 million.
Well, I
which
was going to
then
say,
pays for the next generation of people, and on it goes.
I mean, from Finley Gorman's perspective and his family's perspective, presumably they come out of this quite well.
His disgusting family.
Have you met them?
Nah, it's fine. They're probably fine, aren't they?
Yeah. But
They've just been offered a really good deal, probably.
Yeah, the chance for your kid to make it at Man City. And if they don't
The
make
European champions.
I was going to say, if they don't make it at Man City with all the best facilities in the country, then you can always get a move back to a club like Leeds, can't you? For £5 million further down the line.
I mean, that's the thing in the Athletic article where it's saying City have got high hopes for him. They think he's as good as like Jadon Sancho and Rory Delap's son and some other bloke I've never heard of. You think, well, Jadon Sancho never played for Man City. They just flogged him to Dortmund. The other guy they mentioned never played for Man City. They just flogged him to Dortmund. And Rory Delap's son's just on loan in the Football League somewhere. So you think, well, I don't think they're that arsed. It's like $5 million's not a lot of money for them. If he turns out to be good, great. If he doesn't make a difference to them, does it?
He's going to be no better than Monty Gimple, I heard.
Right. Well, he was very good.
Linked with Arsenal, Liverpool.
Everyone was like same agent as Cody Dramé.
Good agent. Yeah, very good agent. Very good agent.
Archie Gray has been linked to Liverpool. So they want
He's
him.
on a proper contract, though, so they can pay actual money for him.
I think we should get him on a better contract at Leeds for 15 years.
Okay.
Just keep him.
Seems fair. It is annoying, this weird line where essentially before someone's on a pro contract, you can pinch them for not a lot of money and for an amount of money that is trivial for a team like Man City. But then as soon as you can get them on a pro contract, you then have to start paying proper transfer fees. It's not fair.
I was just going to say, with regards to Finley Gorman, actually, had we not agreed a fee with Man City to let him go, would we presumably have only got the statutory mandatory academy fees, which are a lot lower, like the Elite Player Performance Plan, EPPP, that was put in place, puts in fixed amounts of compensation for kids, doesn't it? Depending on where they've been trained and what age they are and stuff like that. So I suppose it's like the lesser of two evils, isn't it? Guaranteeing yourself.
Why would Man City agree to that? If they didn't have to pay it.
But it guarantees that he goes to them, I suppose, doesn't it? I don't know.
Yeah, because there were other clubs looking at him. So basically, City were like, do you want this £5 million or potential £5 million, or we can just potentially sign him for a bit cheaper? But they'd have to compete with, I think it was Tottenham and someone else.
Oh, okay.
I mean, my daughter's 15. I mean, no. That's a bad idea. Elsewhere in transfers, Spurs can't recall Joe Rodon, can they? That's good, because we want to keep him at Elland Road.
Good.
For the duration of the season. Are we going to fall in love with him and then is he going to leave us? That's the question.
It's already happening a bit, isn't it?
Nah, we'll fall in love with him. We'll sign him permanently and he'll be rubbish. Like, this is how it works.
Don't be so cynical. You've been spending too much time around Normanton there, Rob.
I've been spending too much time as a Leeds fan. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The longer I get in the tooth about all this thing, I don't fall in love with players anymore. Used to do when I was younger, idealistic. Like when Kewell did what he did.
What about Jorginho Rutter?
That's different.
He never hurt me.
No, I mean, the thing about Jorginho is I can just appreciate him having a really nice time at the minute. It seems to be having a nice time, and hopefully that translates into some form of loyalty. But we don't know that Leeds might not eventually go, well, do you know what? Someone's dangling 50 or 60 million quid in front of our faces. We might take it, and we might be the disloyal ones. So just don't fall in love, kids. Not where football's concerned, anyway.
No. But yeah, Joe Rodon, it's good that he can't be taken back. I mean, he seemed well out of it at Spurs anyway, didn't he? But there's always that little nagging down that you have that might go, oh, we've got a few injuries, few suspensions, he's doing well. Let's bring him back and have a look at him, and then they bring him back and they don't play him anyway. But no, he can just stay.
In a bit of a kind of a, what's this, stream of consciousness type thought, whenever I hear Joe Rodon's name, it reminds me of Joe Rogan, which makes me think of podcasting. And obviously Pat Bamford has got his new podcast, hasn't he? He's entering this sphere, this space, with Joe Wilkinson, British comedian.
Yeah, that was unexpected. I was listening to a BBC podcast the other day, and there was the advert in the middle of it, and it was Joe Wilkinson being like, oh, I have my dreams to be a best mates with a footballer, and that footballer is... And then Pat Bamford came on. I was like, what the hell's happening here? But, fair enough.
Have you listened to it yet?
Yeah, I will.
I don't think it's out, or maybe it's out just now. But it was weird because I then Googled it, and the BBC had kind of announced it on their website maybe last week, but then nobody had tweeted about it, which seemed strange. It was like they were trying to hide the facts.
A soft launch?
Yeah, I guess so. But, if Bamford... Well, he was podcast part, wasn't he?
I was going to say, I feel sorry for Matthew Lewis. He's ditched him, essentially.
Yeah. So Joe Rodon's staying forever. That's good. So is Archie Gray. We've put those two to bed now.
Rutter, probably.
Rutter, definitely. until he's an old man. But I'm dead pleased for him. I'm dead pleased he's got his France under-21 call up. Like I say, I'm a sucker for not redemption arc, because he's not trying to redeem himself, is he, by any stretch of the imagination? But he's just gone from being a sad little puppy to being a happy puppy this year, and now he's getting his rewards because he's in the France 21s.
Oh, there'll be some Premier League bastards pouring poison in his ears there. Saying, "Oh, you come for us. Did you take a pay cut at Leeds when you went down? Oh, you don't deserve that.
No,
you don't deserve that.
No,
come to Bournemouth in the window. I don't know if Bournemouth have any France under 21s, but probably.
Anyway, so he's staying forever. Willie Gnonto could be staying if his emoji game is to be believed, because it was LUFC MOT com was the account. Was this on Twitter or one of the other platforms? It looks like it's Instagram. Right. Wilfred Gnonto is unhappy with his situation at Leeds United as the January transfer window approaches. Gnonto wants to play regular first-team football as he targets a place in Italy's squad for the next year's European Championships in Germany. And that's quoting Football Insider. And Willie Gnonto replied to that with the crying, laughing emoji.
What do we take from that?
He'd never want to leave Leeds, that lad. I don't know why he'd have any suspicions.
I did see, like, after the Plymouth game, I said before, he wasn't straight down the tunnel like he has been in recent weeks. He stayed out on the pitch. And seemed to be like getting involved, so that's a slight positive sign.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be entirely surprised. Football Insider have taken a bit of a flyer on this, haven't they? You suspect, because they've gone, well, he wanted to leave a couple of months ago, so just run that again.
Yeah, I was going to say, it feels like we're just going to have weeks, like once a week there will be someone wants Willie Gnonto, he wants to leave Leeds story, because it's just the easiest piece of clickbait ever, and it feels like a lot of websites have noticed he's not been playing much for Leeds this season, and sort of ignoring the fact that he refused to play for the first month of the season, which meant he could have played a bit more, and also he's been injured since then. So
now the Ryan Kent transfer story's off, you've got to put something on there, haven't you? So
already though, I'm just thinking, I just want the January window out of the way.
Yeah, I'm not actually that. I suppose I still would like a left back, but I'm not actually that bothered. Other than that, yeah, I'd rather just get through it unscathed. Yeah,
the left back situation is very much dependent on the hamstrings of Sam Byram. It feels like a very fragile hope, doesn't it, at the minute, just based on history alone. Anyway, when it comes to signings, Victor Orta's no longer in charge of them, so that's all right then, isn't it? But
he might not be in charge of them at Sevilla very longer, depending on who wins their next presidential election.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's one of their candidates who was previously their president, Jose Maria Del Nido. He actually had to stop being their president because he was imprisoned for embezzlement. But he's out now.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, and he's a candidate for their elections, which I think are the start of December. And he's looked at their appointment, or Victor Orta's appointment of Diego Alonso as their manager, and he's kind of questioning, why have you done that?
He wasn't at that barbecue. He can't know how good some of the stuff he said was.
So Diego Alonso has, I think he's won one of his 6 or 7 games in charge so far, which was against a 6th tier side. Right. And bearing in mind, I think the 5th tier has about 300 teams in it. It's quite a low level. I mean, to be fair to Alonso, I think they've drawn every game in La Liga he's taken charge of.
Well, I've just pulled the La Liga table up, actually, Rob, and they are 13th in the 20 team division with a recent form guide of drawn. So 5 on the spin. So they've played 12, won 2 of them, drawn 6, lost 4. Positive goal difference, though, so there's that. And they are 5 points clear of the drop zone at the bottom.
But that is essentially right, though, isn't it? That Victor Orta liked him when he spoke to him at a barbecue.
It was like 10 years. Was it like 10 years ago or something as well? Yeah.
Much in the same way as he was kind of having his.
Is the man serious? I mean, is he genuine? Is he a serious man, Victor Orta? Because that seems like a ridiculous premise on which to appoint someone.
Well, we spoke at length about how
it's Chelino and Pepper Potts.
How he spoke to Jesse Marsh for 2 years, and after that decided he was full of good ideas when he didn't appear to have any ideas. It is strange. I think he's just easily swindled. If you've got his number,
I think Jesse Marsh had an idea. Unfortunately,
well, Well, if you've got Victor's number and you want to ring him up with some sort of telephone scam, I reckon you can basically clear out his bank account.
Yeah,
probably quite easily.
It was this week. Orta was speaking at some transfer room congress, which sounds a right laugh, alongside Paulo Fonseca, and they were both saying how they chatted about Fonseca potentially replacing Bielsa, and Fonseca said, or rather, Orta said, Yeah, they had a chart as well as natural ability and leadership. There's also the emotional part. You have to believe that people have a positive emotional side, which again probably explains why he hired Jesse Marsh, because if Jesse Marsh had anything, it was a very positive emotional side.
So basically, Victor is a bit of a vibes guy, isn't he? When you go past hiring one of the best coaches in the world in Bielsa, one of the true mavericks, it seems to be a bit vibesy.
Well, again, so Del Nido's problem about the Diego Alonso appointment is that he's just seen Villarreal appoint Marcelino, who has a track record of winning trophies in Spain and actually used to manage Sevilla, albeit didn't do a very good job. And Orta ignored him to hire a bloke who he met at a barbecue. And again, he's wondering, why have you done that? So Del Nido has said if Alonso doesn't work out, Orta should let the board decide what to do with his position, basically.
Who's the most interesting bloke you've met at a barbecue?
At my uncle's once, a bloke who I think was an arms dealer.
Right.
He was stopping short of saying what he did, but he sold things to Saudis.
Right.
And I was like, definite arms dealer.
Yeah.
So him probably.
Do you want to name him?
I can't remember his name. It was about 20 years ago. But did you sort of making a bit of small talk with somebody? You're like, I think you might be a dreadful person.
Are there a lot of arms dealers in Pontefract?
No, this was down. My uncle don't live in Ponty.
Oh, right, okay.
This was not my barbecue.
The family's escaped then.
Yeah.
Someone else who's getting the hell out of town, Scoobs, has gone, hasn't he?
Little turncoat bastard.
Yeah. Are we putting him on the rat list now, are we?
Big time.
Yeah?
Yeah, of course he
For
is.
ditching us to go to Lincoln and it's Cathedral.
It's all right, Liz Lincoln.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Surprisingly I don't know, it sort of flies under the radar.
Yeah.
It's a bit like York, but not as known.
But further down.
But further down, yeah.
And flatter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no.
Although the cathedral in Lincoln is at the top of a hill, isn't it?
Is the Magna Carta in Lincoln? Or a bit of it, or something? Who knows? Anyway, Scoobs is there. Scoobs, tell us.
Is he becoming one of those Magna Carta types who relies on it to not pay his water bills?
Or
or
Freeman
whatever?
of the Land.
That's
one of those people.
Yeah.
Am I having a fever dream? You're talking about arms dealing at barbecues and the Magna Carta in Lincoln.
We're not going to talk about football. It's international break, Rob. We're not going to talk about football. But so Scoobs has gone there. Not an entire surprise, given that the interviews he was doing around the time when he was in charge at Leeds, he must have had a taste for it. And I think at that point he didn't rule out maybe looking in that direction again in the future. But it did kind of come out of nowhere, didn't it?
I felt weirdly sad about him leaving. I felt like we really bonded during those 2 weeks when he was the manager. I was writing in the Daily Email. It feels like last season he was kind of the only guy at Leeds who sort of did what was being asked of him to a relatively competent level. Like he got the under 21s a promotion, which was admittedly ultimately pointless. And, he got us a draw at Old Trafford, which was a lot of fun, and sort of let our wingers stand on the wing. And I'll kind of be grateful to him for that.
He always looked, I don't know if I've just sort of projecting it or imagining it, he always just looked on the verge of being beleaguered. Not fully beleaguered, just on the verge of it, like we could break him at any time.
I mean, you would be, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone else that works at Leeds.
He's just gone to Lincoln for a nice, quiet life.
Yeah, maybe so. But I suppose you can't resist having a go at a management job, can you? Particularly once you've had a little go at it.
Yeah.
And also having Leeds on a TV, even for a couple of weeks, probably gives you enough. Because if he'd not done it as an interim job last year, he probably doesn't get this, it feels like. But because you've been like on Match of the Day once, chairman would be like, oh, go on then. And it worked well for Mark Jackson.
Have you seen who's the captain at Lincoln?
Is it Liam Bridcut?
No, but there is a Leeds link.
Oh, go on.
Paddy O'Connor.
Oh, is it?
Former Leeds and Bradford City legend.
Good fighter, if you remember that scrap at Real that the under-21s had as well.
So the 21s, so he didn't go out on the 7-1 defeat then to Palace. Have they played again since?
Yes, they went out on a defeat still, but it was to Chelsea 2-1. And their striker who scored 2 goals is one of their Football Manager regens who cost millions and millions of pounds. So technically we won, I think. It was 2-1. Sean McGurk scored. So
Sean McGurk always scores.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Scoobs tries to take some of those players on loan, because McGurk looks like he could do with first team football, and Scoobs has been talking him up a lot. He's been playing really well this season, so it'd be nice to see some of those players go and be proper footballers, I think.
Liam Bridcut at Blackpool now, by the way. It was at Lincoln.
Hey, speaking of big victories, Leeds women went absolutely nuts, didn't they, at West Didsbury and Chorlton? Feels a bit unfair, the opposition getting to put 2 teams out.
Hey,
there we go. 6-2, they were behind at one point, were they? And then absolutely slammed in a load of goals in about 5 minutes.
Yes, I think West Didsbury scored first. But yeah, Flora's written a really good blog on this about how the weather was such a state. It reminded her of being at Histon as a child watching Leeds there. But thankfully, Leeds United women did a lot better. Katie Hassel scored a hat-trick.
Right, I just need to check something here. Oh, no, it is. That's right, yeah. Because they've got Ripon City in the next round. We were just chatting about cathedrals there. First, I've just looked at Ripon because they've got Ripon City. Ripon is a cathedral city in North Yorkshire.
It is.
So there we go.
Yeah, I couldn't quite believe that. I was really surprised when I saw the draw. I was like, how can they call themselves Ripon City? But fair enough.
You've been to Ripon Cathedral?
Don't think I have.
That is a surprisingly grand cathedral, actually. Just looking at it.
I've heard the Magna Carta's there.
Pages of it everywhere.
Just lying around.
Every cathedral gets a page.
They've got a wobbly coffee table, I think, in one of the back rooms there at the cathedral. Just fold up a bit of the Magna Carta and put it under the legs.
What's the ranking between... is a minster above a cathedral? Or is a minster a type of cathedral?
Sort of the same thing, isn't it? I don't know. I didn't realise there was a ranking of these things.
Right.
What's the top?
Right, Minster.
Because York's obviously your biggest in this sort of, in the north.
It's your Champions League, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Level of, yeah.
That's like your Wembley.
Right, so a Minster is an honorific title given to particular churches in England, most notably York Minster in Yorkshire, Westminster Abbey in London, and Southwell Minster in Nottinghamshire. The term Minster is first found in blah, 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 7th century. Any settlement, blah, 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 charter, blah, prayer, thing.
Yeah, because Leeds Minster's not even very big, is it? It's just more of like a normal church.
Where even is Leeds Minster?
Down by the bus station. By the ETAP budget. Or whatever it is now. Ibis budget.
Means a fancy church. That's all we need to get into.
All right, fine.
Yeah. So that's good. That's my hot Ripon chat. And have we got any more to add on the loan watch, which is one of the kind of the columns we've got here on our prep sheet? We're
going to have updates soon, aren't we? From Chris McMenemy, who was bringing us news of the Italian rats. Yeah, well, Chris has it's a mailing list and a Twitter account as well, doesn't it? Following Italian football, TMB Italia. And a blog, TMG Italia. what did I say? TMB. The match ball. The match ball. I've got a match ball in my head. TMG Italia. Sorry, yes. Apologies to Chris. Yeah, he's coming in actually over the international break. And we're going to have a chat about all the different Italian links, speak about Calvin Phillips, who could be heading his way to Juventus, and find out what madness Chilino's got up to. Has he broken Berardi yet? All that kind of thing. So that should be entertaining. But to sum up what the loanees are doing at the minute. I mean, I actually left this on the prep sheet from last week, but I can assure you it's still true. Just says they're all still shite bags.
The Square Ball Podcast.